Stay tuned and let's check out this Marvel Legends retro X-Men Avalanche. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who, and remember now you can hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we continue looking at the Marvel Legends retro X-Men wave. As in front of me we have Avalanche. Finally, as this is technically the very first time we have gotten this character in Marvel Legends. The only time we ever really got him in this scale was during the X-Men Classics line, which predates even Toy Biz Marvel Legends. So we're talking way over 20 years ago. So it's about time we got this member of the evil Brotherhood of Mutants in our Marvel Legend lineups. And here he is on the glorious villainous purple card back with seismic force written on the side. He's in his blue uniform and two interchangeable fisted hands. Looking great on the back of the packaging. You get a picture of the other 5 figures in this retro wave, as well as a write-up that reads, Brotherhood of Mutants veteran Avalanche can generate powerful seismic rays from his hands. And without further ado, let's get this guy open. Here we have Avalanche out of the packaging with his set of interchangeable hands. I'll move them out of the way and get the tape measure out first things first and see that he is standing at about 6¼ inches in height. Now the base body itself is a little bit of old, a little bit of new, as most of the chrome areas on this figure are new, but he is on an older base body as we have the pins in the double knees and in the double elbows. And before we zoom in and take a look at the new head sculpt, I do want to comment real quick on the actual character design for Avalanche, as my mind's eye will always see this character with an A on his belt or on his chest, just like this old school image. But it genuinely depends on what era of comics you read and what story and team he was in. Depends on the outfit he wears. The more modernized look is what we see in figure form here, and it is also the look that they used in the animated show as well. Now depending on the comic page, sometimes his uniform is blue or purple or grey, so I think this design here, they've went for like a happy medium between the three of a more modernized look for Avalanche. But if I had to be selfish, I would have liked an A on either the belt or even the chest would have been nice. But this is what we've got. Let's zoom in. To be honest, I'm just happy we have an Avalanche in Marvel Legends, as he was a gap in our Evil Brotherhood of Mutants collection and displays, so I'll take him either or. And zooming in on their head sculpt here, they're using the digital face printing tech on the parts of the face we can see behind the helmet, and it is a sculpted head under there as well. You can see the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and the helmet sort of sits away from the face, so it isn't just painted on there or squashed on there. There is that sort of realism to the dimensions of the helmet, which I like, but it doesn't come off. It's not removable. It would have been nice if it came off just as an extra sort of accessory, but it does not. But to be honest, I'm only going to display him with his helmet anyway, but you know I appreciate options. But no, the helmet's not removable, but it is done in this sort of chrome, sort of marbleized, silvery paint. I know some people don't like the sort of marbleization in these plastics. However, for me, if it's plastic representing metal, I think it's absolutely fine. I genuinely don't see people's gripes with it. I have got no issues with any marbleization, and there's only a little bit here as the light hits it. Moving down to the chest area, again, it would have been great to have like a sculpted A on here, but it's not to be. Same on the belt here. Now, I think this new chest area is new, as it's all sculpted with the shoulder pieces here. I can only assume it is. And the crunch is decent enough. He goes forward that much, and he goes back a decent amount as well, so no complaints there. On the arms, again, the arms are definitely reused from one of many Marvel Legends, I'm sure. Now, the arms will go up past 90, it seems, no issues there. There is a bicep swivel and a double jointed elbow, but he has got the thick sort of gauntlets on, which unfortunately does limit the range you're going to get on the elbow, but the double joint is there, and obviously his arms can go all the way down. I like it when a figure can stand in a neutral position anyway, especially a menacing sort of brute of a guy. So yeah, the chrome is nice. Again, there is some marbleization on the figure in more areas than in others, but again, not an issue for me. Two fisted hands on the figure out the box with these new gauntlet pieces. Now, these could be reused from a figure that I just can't think of, but you'll have to let me know in the comments if they are, but it's not a game I like playing. I'm always wrong. Moving down to the legs, we've just got the blue, we've got the thigh cut. Moving down to the knees, again, double jointed knees with the pins. Again, these are reuse. Same issue with the actual gauntlets. The big boot cuffs do limit the range you can get on the feet on the articulation, but there's his sort of space chrome boots with the ankle pivot and rocker. No problem on that whatsoever. And to be fair, his legs will go forward quite a bit, like no issues with that. Back, not so much, which is absolutely normal. And then legs out so far, which again, absolutely fine. For the range of articulation I require for my display and for my version of Avalanche, I'm absolutely fine with it. My gripes, if I'm going to have to pick them, of course, in this age, I'd love it to be pinless. The helmet being removable would have been great as well. And again, selfishly, I would have liked an A somewhere. But this isn't an inaccurate design by any means. That is just my personal preference. This is still an accurate representation of Avalanche. And yeah, no complaints. So, well, apart from the gripes I had, you know what I'm talking about anyway. He has two sets of hands, so we get fisted hands on the figure out of the packaging, but we also get a set of open palm hands, so much more expressive for when he's using his seismic abilities, which makes him a little bit more interesting to look at if you want him on the shelf using his powers. So there is no sort of butterfly joints in the arms by any means, but there is still a decent enough range where, as I said, you can get it sort of in, so he's sort of facing forward. There's an up and down hinge in the wrists as well, so you can sort of get that hand up if you wanted to, but I think it works really well. The belt's a separate piece as well, which I didn't realise because it's sitting quite high, but the waist swivel is there, of course. There's the swivel. So again, for the range I'm going to require, absolutely fine with what we get here. I forgot to mention the range on the head. It is on a disc and hinge, so he can bury the chin, no problem at all there. And looking back, he can look up a little bit as well, but the helmet does limit that. Of course, it gets caught on the back, but there is range there, and obviously swivel. Not really much tilt because it's on the disc and hinge, but there you go. Moving into some comparisons. First up, let's bring in a couple of members of the new Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. This sort of variation of the team was led by Mystique. So here we have the Walgreens exclusive Mystique, and then we have his best mate Pyro, as I know Pyro and Avalanche build a tight bond within the comics, and these are 3 members of that original lineup, but we are missing a couple to build that team. And hopefully, if the rumours and rumblings are true, we may get a second chance to add Blob to our modern Hasbro collection, as I missed out on that Build-A-Figure many years ago. So hopefully we get a new Blob in 2023, and we also need Destiny. And if you look at this picture yourself, then we will have the original members of the new Brotherhood of Evil Mutants with Blob, Pyro, Leader Mystique, Avalanche, and Destiny. So Destiny and Blob for 2023, please. Some people may prefer to put Avalanche with original members of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants with Magneto and Toad, and we've even got a little kit bashed version of Mastermind in the back there. Shout out Rebel 10 Customs. Now my mind does also put Avalanche with characters like this, but I don't think he was initially part of that first team in the comics. He didn't join on board until Mystique took her own team, but he may have eventually joined up with Magneto in different eras of the comic. Maybe my mind puts him with these characters because of the animated show, as he is in the intro of that show running with Magneto and some other random villains towards the X-Men. So yeah, he undoubtedly scales really well with characters like this. So wherever you're going to put him, where are you going to put him in your display? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments below. Next, we have Avalanche with a trinity of Jim Lee X-Men with Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean Grey. And again, he is buffer and taller than them all, as he should be. Scales nice. And just for scale, a couple of different body types within the X-Men universe. We have Vulcan and Darwin, and Avalanche is taller than both. Now, talking of scale, an argument could be made that Avalanche could be a little bit bigger, a little bit broader. However, I'm fine with the scale, and here he is compared to a couple of bigger X-Men villains, just to show you that he isn't a monstrous brute by any means, as we've got the Build-A-Figure Apocalypse and Juggernaut. And not X-Men related by any means, but here we have Avalanche compared to a couple of bigger Marvel characters with Luke Cage and Crossbones. Now, he doesn't share any parts with their base bodies, and he is nearly the same height. He's only a smidge shorter, but again, I'm fine with it. But an argument could be made he could be a little bit broader. Now, I mentioned earlier that this is sort of how Avalanche looked when he appeared in the X-Men animated show, as that was also based on a more modern look in the comics at the time. So here he is compared to a couple of VHS cel-shaded X-Men characters, for anyone curious of sort of fudging him into an animated display, as he was used as a bit of a brute and a henchman for Mystique. So here he is compared to VHS Mystique and Morph, and I think it can work if you're building a sort of X-Men animated shelf. Why not? And just take out Morph for a second and bring in a lot of people's favourite Wolverine, as we have the VHS Wolverine. And then here we have a look at Avalanche compared to the other X-Men retro figures I have already reviewed on the channel. So we have Spiral, Dark Phoenix, and Uncanny Wolverine. And he scales taller than all of them. And so far, what a wave this has been. Go and check out all my reviews for these figures on the channel right now. Here we have Frogman, Tigra, and White Rabbit. And last but absolutely never least, here we have Captain Britain and Bombastic Hank. So, final thoughts on this Marvel Legends Retro X-Men Avalanche. Now, I for one am very happy to add the character Avalanche to our Marvel Legends collection, technically for the very first time in 20 years, as we have never had Avalanche officially in the Legends line, and he was a character that we needed to fill a couple of gaps amongst our villainous teams in the X-Men universe, so there are a few places that he could go. And if I was being selfish, I would have preferred a character design where he had the A on the chest or the belt, but that's just my mind's eye of Avalanche. This is still an accurate representation from page to plastic of the character, and I think bottom line is everyone's just happy to get Avalanche on the shelf. As he said, he is a gap filler. He's a character we needed to fill certain teams. So you let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this the character design you would have liked for Avalanche, or are you on the same page as me? Always curious to hear your thoughts. Let me know. And as always, if you like Marvel Legends, and you're in the right place. Check out the videos tab, find the playlist, but most importantly, please hit that subscribe button. Much appreciated. Hit all on the notification bell. Don't miss out on a video. And please hit that join button. Become a channel member. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. You can follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And I'm on Twitter as well. Tweet me at Dan Who Reviews. Don't be shy. And as always, my name is Dan W. And I'll of course see you on the next one.